Good morning. So I thought I'd do another one of these videos. Obviously, we have a major winter storm coming within the next 24 hours. So I just thought I'd lump everything together all into one video as opposed to posting a bunch of images and obviously share this. It's going to be up on YouTube. So uh, if you want to share it with other people, go ahead. So we have our storm system down in the southern plains here, and basically this is going to be an overrunning event where precipitation comes out from the southwest and runs into cold air and you get snow, and that's been the case with the two storms this week. This one's a bit different though, and I'll get into that in a moment. But we have plenty of cold air that's been funneling down. Obviously, you've been outside, plus we have the snow cover here, also chilling things as well. So, moving along here, and I do apologize, this is still new, this program I'm using, so if there's some pauses, I do apologize. Or some glitches. Basically, there we have our precipitation, northern Texas, Oklahoma, and it doesn't look like much now, but it's going to tap into moisture from the southern jet, and then also from the Gulf of Mexico, and eventually the Atlantic Ocean as well. And it's going to become more organized, and it's going to come up to about here, primary low, just about to Ohio. And then that strong high pressure, and you'll see that in a minute, here is blocking it, and it's going to prevent it from going like that. If it went like that, we'd change over to rain because we'd be on the right side, the warm side of the track. Instead, it's only going to be able to go so far, and then it's going to spawn a new area of low pressure, probably around South Carolina or so, and then transfer its energy, and then that will become the main storm, thus leaving us on the cold side. So, jumping ahead here, this is the National Weather Service. They've put out winter storm watches, which is appropriate. Looks like what they've done here, obviously Berks, Lehigh, and the south central PA here. It looks like they've split the counties in half in the northwestern suburbs of Philadelphia. That's probably going to end up being a mistake. But again, this is just a watch at this point. But it looks like they split Chester, Montgomery, and Bucks, leaving the southern and eastern portions just under a hazardous weather outlook. This will get upgraded to a warning at some point today, and I fully suspect that all of Pennsylvania will be under one at some point today. So, jumping ahead, what we have for Saturday is obviously, just like I said, low pressure comes up to about here. You can see that warm nudge. That's why it turns to rain in West Virginia. And then new storm takes over down here, and cold air funneling in. You're going to end up with a major snowstorm in Pennsylvania, and it's definitely looking like a colder solution, snowier, and then there's going to be some ice problems, but I think it's going to be mostly south. The I-95 corridor is going to be touch and go in regards to what's going to happen. It's going to be close, and you'll see some of what I'm talking about there in the models in a few moments. Speaking of the models, here we go. So just again to describe what's going on here, this is actually the Canadian regional model, goes out to about 48 hours. Excellent model. Forecasters do not use this enough on TV. They do. The National Weather Service does use it, but this is a very accurate model with inside 48 hours. But basically, it's obviously a little bit later than right now because the precipitation was back over Oklahoma, so this is probably a good 6 hours from now. But here you have your precipitation breaking out, rain, and then obviously a little bit of ice over here, and then a swath of snow is beginning to form here. Jumping ahead to about 5 hours later, again, you can see here, you see how there's a warm push because it's changing to rain in a lot of these places here. And here's that strong high pressure I was talking about. You got 1038 high in a ideal spot for snow in the northeast. So jumping ahead, over 1040 high. So that's very strong. obviously here's our main low, and again, you can see it's, that warm push is right there, obviously in the mountains and the Appalachians. Some ice and snow is breaking out, but for the most part, it looks like it's going to change to rain. And again, if it continued on that track, it would, even with the cold air in place. But that high pressure is going to serve as a block, and we'll move it 5 hours forward. And my apologies. There we go. So here, obviously, you got major snows beginning to break out. This low is beginning to weaken, and you can see it's sort of bubbling out down here to South Carolina, and that's the beginning of a new low taking hold there. High pressure again, ideal spot. And jumping ahead, I believe this is the last frame I have for this particular model. You can see that secondary low is taking over. This one's becoming, the circles are becoming wider, which means it's weakening, and 1036 high, still plenty strong enough. This is major snow in Pennsylvania at this time, and this little dark area here at the Mason-Dixon line, that is very heavy snow. That's over an inch an hour rates. But at this point, it looks like it's rain in Washington. Baltimore's right on the cusp. Philly, it looks like it's just barely on the cold side there, and obviously New York City's fair game. But once you get 50 miles or so, or not even 50, 20 miles northwest of the I-95 corridor, it's going to be quite wintry. So this is a forecast from the Weather Channel, and this is an example of a bad forecast. Right now they're forecasting 1 to 3 inches in Philadelphia, and looks like they're leaving Baltimore. It's hard to see here. Baltimore, I can't see, but I'm assuming it's out of it. Washington's out of it. New York, they have, it's nice how they move all the lines close together there. But for example, Reading, Reading is located about here. I guarantee you we're going to get more than 3 inches of snow. So that's a bad forecast. AccuWeather's forecast is not much better. They changed it recently, it looks like. Because I do remember 1 to 3 extending further north, but they still have 3 to 6, and then 6 to 10 doesn't begin until northeast PA. That's not going to work either. National Weather Service doing a little bit better of a job, although I think they're probably too low in Philly, but they're taking their time on this at this point. But at least they have 6-inch amounts, cutting down to about Pottstown, and then into northwest New Jersey. So let's take a look at some of the models. This is the GFS, the American model, the main model that's used by forecasters, and it does show that you do have 3 to 5 inch amounts maybe in Philly, and then the heaviest snow is this purple area is over 6 inches, and then you get to the pinks that's over 10 inches. So you got your heaviest snow in east central PA, looks like Susquehanna Valley, up into the Lehigh Valley, northwest New Jersey, and then things really get going once you get into southeast New England. The GFS has been playing catch-up, so let's see what some of the other models are showing. This is the NAM. This is the other American model. More short-range model. It's probably turned a few heads last night. This came in after the 11 o'clock news forecasts, but you can see it has the 10-inch amounts getting into Philadelphia, and then back into the Reading area and Allentown, most of northern New Jersey, and then into southern New England. This might be overdoing it a bit, but look at that cutoff at the bottom. I mean, you're talking about going 20 miles and going from 10 inches down to 2 inches, and that's really going to be the way that it pans out. It's just a question of where does that tight gradient cutoff begin. So those are the two models that most of forecasters use. Let's look at some of the other models that don't get a lot of play. One that kind of does is the European. They sometimes use this. It's considered in the weather community the gold standard for forecasting of real forecasters, that is. Uh, but it's not the most accurate model once you get inside of 48 hours. It's really good at nailing snowstorms from 5-6 days out. But it's worth a look. I mean, we're right on the cusp of where it's not um, as accurate a model. There's other options that are better in the shorter term. But you have your purples over 6 inches, extending to down about, I guess that's about Phoenixville area, encompassing all of Berks County, Lehigh Valley, northwest New Jersey. You got about 4 inches in northern Philly, but in southern Philly you only have about 2 inches. So there's an example of that tight gradient, and that's a fairly decent representation of what's going to happen. This is the model we were looking at where it showed the precipitation. This is the 48-hour Canadian regional model, as they call it. And again, that's showing 2 to 4 inches in Philly, and then 6 inches just northwest of the big cities and a big area. And then within that, there are amounts that go up to about 10 inches or so. And there's going to be more snow up here. It's just it only goes out to 48 hours, so it's not catching that. But that's a decent model for that. This is the WRF model, which is the high resolution NAM, and this has been really starting to trend colder. Obviously, as you can see, it's pushing that 6-inch line east of I-95 cities, encompassing all of New York. New York's getting blasted here with about 10 or so inches, 10 to 14 inches of snow. Philly's getting about 8 or so, and then Lehigh Valley really getting smacked with about a foot of snow. I actually really like the way that the snow is represented here. I'm just not so sure about the locations. But I'm getting a good feeling that that's the heaviest snow is going to be close to the rain-snow line, and it's just a question of where is that rain-snow line going to be. I think this might be a touch too cold, but we'll see about that. These are interesting tools. The short-range ensembles. These are not used by forecasters, and I have no idea why, because they're actually really good. At least, I mean, they're a bit on the conservative side, but it's a great tool for following trends. And basically, you can pull up locations, like this is Allentown, for example, and basically it's showing you an ensemble mean of what the snow amounts would be. So basically, you got anywhere from about 6 inches, according to the ensembles for the NMB model, NMMs, about 7 inches, and then ARWs have an average of about 10 inches. So that's telling me that Allentown's going to get 6 to 10 inches of snow. And then moving on to some other locations, Reading, same type deal, 5, about 8, close to 10. So, and obviously Reading and Allentown would be really close to each other in regards to snowfall in a pattern setup like this. Pottstown, beginning to see that spread a little bit more, where it's 4 inches, and then all the way up to about 10 inches. So, again, Pottstown's pretty close to Reading, so obviously there isn't much of a difference there. But if you go to Philly, here is where you start to see differences. Obviously, on the low end, you only have about 1.4 inches. ARW is about 2.7, and then the NMMs are about 4 inches. The short-range ensembles, they're great forecast tools, but we're really just starting to get into the range where they're actually able to be looked at. This is something that I think, as the day goes on, I think these numbers are going to go up for Philly. But again, once outside of Philly, I mean, it's definitely game on for a hefty snowstorm. So basically, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, in regards to snowfall, I really feel that once you're into the Philadelphia area, it's going to be a tight gradient, but I think Philly's going to be on the snowier side of things now. Originally, I was thinking maybe they would only just get the 1 to 2 inches, but I'm really starting to think they're going to be in the 4 to 6. But that line is going to get really close, and there should be some mixing down there with some sleet and freezing rain. I don't know that they go over to all rain anymore. I'm actually starting to doubt that. But once you get up to about King of Prussia or so, then it's game on for 6-inch plus snows, and that'll extend up into Reading, Lehigh Valley, Northwest New Jersey, and it's definitely going to be an interesting storm. Timing of it, this is always a bit harder to nail down. At this point, the models were showing midday start time for Saturday. I think it'll be sooner than that. These systems have a tendency to get in here a little quicker, so I think Saturday morning is better. Probably 8 to 10 a.m. somewhere in that range. Again, it's hard to nail down at this point. This will be a longer duration storm. It's not going to be like a Tuesday storm that was a screamer with the afterburners on, where it was in and out in 3 or 4 hours. This is going to be about a 12 to 18-hour storm. So if it starts, let's just say mid-morning, 9 a.m., it would last till about 9 p.m. Or a little bit thereafter. It should be light to start, and then get intense as the day goes on. And then, according to that Canadian model, it looks like there might be some 1 to 2 inch per hour amounts for a period there, but it would be on the second half of the storm that I feel that it really ramps up. So basically, that's all I got for now. I will definitely post updates as needed. I'm sure I'll post tons of images on Facebook, depending on what models come out today. I'll probably do another video tonight. So if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up.